There are 7 RESTful controller actions that you should become familiar with, and you've already reviewed 2. Index should render a list of what we might call a resource. So a list of articles, or a list of projects, or a list of users. However, the show action is to show a specific one. Show me not all articles, but that article, or show me this user, or that project. So that's 2, but there's still 5 others. And don't worry, it's really easy to understand. We need a way to create a new resource or an article. We need a way to persist it. And don't worry, I'll go over all of these in just a moment. You need a way to edit an existing item or resource. You need a way to persist that edit or update it. And then finally, you need a way to destroy that resource entirely. So here you can see we have, again, what we call the 7 RESTful controller actions. Now, of course, you can structure and build your applications however you want. That being said, at least to start, I would recommend that you follow this convention. And in fact, I've been doing it for many years, and I still follow this convention as much as I possibly can. Now, this is probably still a little blurry, so let's very quickly comment what each of these would do. The index action, as we already learned, should render a list of a resource. The show action should show a single resource. The create action shows a view to create a new resource. So if I was creating a new article, at some point you visit a page that has a form where you fill out the title and you fill out the body and you click submit, right? That is the domain of the create action. It shows a view that renders that form. However, once you submit that form, we need a way to handle that submission, right? That's where the store method comes in. This will persist that create form. Okay, but now we already have, in this case, an article, and I want to tweak it. I'll change the title. All right, once again, you need a way to show a form to edit an existing item. That's what this is for. Show a view to edit an existing resource. And much like this situation, what happens when you submit that edit form? Well, you gotta persist it. So you'll hit this update action. Persist the edited resource. And then finally, let's say we've decided this article is crap and we want to delete it entirely. You'd hit the destroy method. Delete the resource. And if you think about it, for so many things we build, these 7 RESTful actions will handle the bulk of what you need to do, because so many projects really are just glorified CRUD applications. Create, read, update, and delete. Now, admittedly, it can be a little tedious sometimes to write all of these out. So take a look at this. Now, if I view the help for the make controller command, and let's expand that, you'll see a few additional options we can provide. For now, we'll focus on these top 2, model and resource. Generate a resource controller class. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Let's imagine we were making a controller for handling projects. So we could say projects controller -r, and now take a look. If we visit that new projects controller, it includes all 7 actions. But you could even take this a step further. So let's delete this, do it again, but this time I will add the -m flag to specify the associated model. In this case, it would be maybe project. Now here it's letting you know, well, a project model doesn't exist. Do you need one? Sure. Okay, so now if we open projects controller, we get the same thing as before, but this time it's pulling in your project model and it's referencing that model as a type hint wherever would be appropriate. So for example, if you're showing an existing project, it's going to accept that as an argument. The same will be true if you edit or update or destroy or delete the project. Or in other words, this will knock out so much of the boilerplate that otherwise you'd have to write manually. Okay, so this takes care of the controller side. However, we still have to figure out what the convention is for the routing. Because you might think, all right, this is simple. If I'm going to edit an existing article, then it's probably something like this. And you'd be right. But what about update? So you've edited an existing article. You know you want to hit that update action, but what should the URI look like? Is it something like this? No, it's not. Instead, we can use the request type or the request verb to channel these incoming requests.